Yay! We are live. Wat 'n gesukkel. Maar anyway, so I normally do not do live videos on YouTube. My live videos I normally do on Facebook Live. But I am I am contemplating moving off of social media, not altogether, but moving away a little bit more from social media. There's so many things going on, so many information, the whole censoring policies and things like that. Yeah, I have questions around that. So I'll go live more often on YouTube when I figured it out, because that seems to be something out of the ordinary. So that's why I am live via Zoom for today, but I'll figure that out. I want to give you an update on what Explosive Minds are up to and what we're busy with currently. So for February, every single month, let me backtrack, every single month, I run a lunch and learn workshop, whatever you want to call that, completely free of charge for about 30 minutes. I try to bring it down to 30 minutes, mainly because I need to learn how to give concise messages and concise workshops. I should be able to do that in 30 minutes. It's just a personal goal that I have. And keep it short for especially people that want to participate in the afternoon or the midday session. I'll have a midday afternoon session and an evening session. But for those who want to participate during the day, they would be able to do so. It's not too long. It's not an hour, maybe running into an hour and a half or something like that. So that's why I do want to focus on 30 minutes. I share all sorts of, or discuss all sorts of topics. Now, here's the thing, what you need to remember about those workshops. It's purely theoretical. We probably won't have time in that 30 minutes unless it's something really short in terms of the theory that I'm sharing. But we probably won't have time in that 30 minutes to take the entire group. We were a nice group last week as well, and tonight we have the last of the February session. But to take the whole group through the exercise, that can take about 10 to 15 minutes extra. But I will leave you with something that you can take with you, and you can go and exercise it at home, something that's easy. The workshops are focused on the people that I serve in my business, which are mainly coaches of athletes, people in leadership positions, and people that need to lead other people. So you'll get something out of it, I promise, and something that you can take with you and actually practice. So if you do that, then yeah, you will get something out of it. Then other things I'm busy with at the moment is I started martial arts a year ago. It's now probably already a year ago. No, maybe less than a year ago. I started martial arts, and what was interesting, actually, my son started it first. I was sitting there, I'm like thinking, oh, I can do that. Okay. But I started it. I was actually very curious about adult skill learning, and from a neurobiological perspective, a neurochemical perspective, and neuromuscular perspective, how well can an adult jump into something at my age and learn? Well, they will be able to learn the same skills, but the rate will be different, and things. The rate at which you learn the skill, the effort you need to put in will obviously be different. So that's sort of something that I've tested myself, which was an interesting exercise to do. And actually, I love it so much that I'll continue with that. So I'll keep you updated on that. I've already graded twice. In 2 weeks' time is the third time. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that and how that goes. Then I've started a weight loss accountability program. I've had so many people and especially ladies in my church community come to me and ask me for some sort of weight loss advice, ask me for some sort of weight loss accountability. So I have decided to start a weight loss accountability program. For those of you who've been with me for a few years know that I come out of health coaching and weight loss coaching and sugar addiction coaching. That's where I came from, and then moved over to high performance coaching. So this accountability and the focus group, if I can call it like that, will specifically be for people that know what they need to do, which I guess is the majority of the people, because everybody knows how to diet, but still they struggle to lose the weight, or still they struggle to stick to a specific program that the greatest intentions of following it, but they struggle to put in the effort, they struggle to stay motivated, they struggle to stick with the program, basically. So I do not provide meal plans. I do not provide a diet plan. Frankly, it's all over the internet. I can give you advice from my history as a health coach, what might be a good start for you, but that's not the intention of the accountability group. I honestly do not care what weight loss program you follow, because if you don't have the motivation, if you don't have the grit and the determination to stick with it and follow it through, no amount of diet plans or weight loss plans is going to help you. So that's the focus. And yes, the interesting thing is a lot of people see that I work with high performers, I work with professional athletes or coaches, and it's like, oh, I can never do that. But the level of skill and grit and determination that you need as an individual to lose the weight is exactly the same as the level of skill, grit, and determination a professional athlete needs to go and participate in an event, a national or international event. So it's really nothing different. Your goal is just different between the two individuals. So yeah, I work with the individuals that know what they need to do, but they struggle to do it. Okay, so that's about the weight loss accountability. If you want more information about that, you can go to my website, xPlosiveminds.co.za, and there at the top navigation bar, you'll find a button. Click on that. You can read through the information. It's a monthly program. We will have monthly coaching sessions in the group, and we will have an accountability group. Currently, I'm still residing on Facebook for paid membership only, the folks obviously that pay. It's not a free group on Facebook. So, but I'll see how that goes. I might move that off of Facebook, but it depends on how convenient it is for people. I do not expect people to need to be on Facebook in order to be in the program. I want the program to run independent from Facebook. I mean, if you can receive an email, you receive the updates in terms of the program, which is fine. So yeah, contact me if you want more information on that program. And then currently we are busy with our lunch and learn topic for this month, for February. The last day today is transforming the way you think. And I talk about the difference between self-concept versus self-image, which is something that I've came across with the work of Andreas and Connie Ray, Steve and Connie Ray Andreas, in the Core Transformation book that Steve Andreas wrote, and also Damon Card. I have to think about his name every single time because always I'm thinking about Matt Damon. Damon Card did also do some work on this as well. I guess a lot of work on this as well. So, which is great. I've even done it on myself for eating bread. I wanted to, throughout COVID, I started eating bread. Before that, never really ate any bread. During COVID, eat bread. And then when you start to get into that, I almost want to call it a habit, but not so much a bad habit. It's not like I stuffed my mouth with bread every single day, every second of the day. It was just something that I wanted to stop in terms of, it should be easy for me. I wanted it to be easy for me if I decide today that don't want bread, that I don't want to eat bread. Actually did that on myself with great results. And then I had the question about, okay, but if I do eat bread, can I control how much I eat throughout the day using the same principles? So amazing. I'll maybe one day I'll talk about that whole story. Yeah, but we talk specifically about the difference between self-concept and self-image, and I'll leave you with a little exercise that you can do, and even with your athletes that you can do to sort of take them a little bit through the process. Obviously, in these short sessions, I cannot guarantee an entire transformation of your life, or entire transformation of a habit, or an entire transformation of, if you're an athlete, of having a fear of going onto the field or feeling nervous or something like that. But at least I can give you the start in terms of where you can start and how you can start. What is coming for March? Obviously, Formula One. I cannot wait. The 18th of March, the first race is in Bahrain, and then they have the pre-season testing the week before that. Looking forward to that. I have yeah, it's bad what happened between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. I have my theory around, not specifically the actual event, but I have my theory around, if you go and listen, I love absolutely to analyze the interviews of the two individuals. So whenever a journalist has an interview, or there's a panel interview of these two, the words that Max Verstappen uses versus, and how he conducts himself versus what Lewis Hamilton does and how he conducts himself. And I'll keep an eye out. I want to go through a little bit more interviews before I rant on further. I rant on in any case when I listen to an interview of the two, and the difference between how they respond to the journalists. But if you are a person that watch Formula One, go and do yourself a favor and listen to the two and see if you can spot the difference. And then maybe in future, I'll do a session. Maybe I'll do 2-hour session on that. That sounds like fun. With actual examples. Yeah, that would be fun. Okay, so out of our workshop we did last week on transforming the way you think and your thoughts, I already got some questions from individuals that could potentially, well, it will make up great topics for future lunch and learns, which I will definitely use. The question around self-awareness. When you have an athlete, the question came up, when you have an athlete that doesn't know that they are doing something, or that they have a skill they need to work on, or they have something that they need to continue to work on. So there's, I spoke about the difference in terms of, you don't have the skill, give them the skill and they will be better, or versus the athlete is totally ignorant about the fact that they don't, in other words, they don't have the self-awareness. So how do you teach somebody self-awareness? So that was one thing. Also, I think that what tied in with that question was the language we use, especially when you work with athletes, especially when you work with leaders. If you are a leader also working with other people, listening to the language they use, that's where the whole Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton interviews come in. You get a lot about a person if you listen to the words they use, but not just that. Based on the words that they use, you can use certain language or words in questions to actually help them get to a point where they realize something, or where they have their own insight or something like that. Then the other thing, the question that also came up that will make a great topic is the topic around values. And when I talk about values, I talk about deep core, your inner values. If I had to ask you today what's your values, everybody will be able to recite 5 values, but it's going to be very superficial values. It's going to be the stuff, highly likely, the majority of that 5 is going to be the stuff that you've learned other people want you to have, the values other people want you to have, or the values that sounds cool, even in your workplace. So I am determined, I persevere, I'm a hard worker. Are those really your deep inner core values, or are those values you recite because it sounds good to the people around you? So there's a huge difference between the two. And many times what happens is that when people find that they have inner conflict, let's say they have to make a decision, something basic, like a decision that's really not massive, well, it could be a massive decision, but yeah, they don't know what they should do. They have the one option and they have the other option. Both options are perfectly fine. Both options will get them somewhere, whatever the scenario might be, but they just have this inward struggle inside in terms of finding peace, which option they need to pick. The reason why we most of the time have inner conflict, most of the time, is because we are doing something that does not align with our inner core values. Now, it doesn't mean that if you pick one and it doesn't underpin the value of, let's say, discipline, doesn't mean that you are not disciplined. We all have, I almost want to say, the same list of values. We just all prioritize them differently. So whereas being on time is a value for me that I might find in my top 10, if I had to order my values from most important to least important, I might find it in the top 10, where for the other person, it's not a value for them. It is a value, but it might be 30th on their list, not such a great priority, but there might be instances that they will be on time. So values play a huge role in directing how we feel, and like I said, making decisions. So the question came up, like, how do you, and it was about goal setting, that once you get to the goal and you realize, oh, shoot, it was the wrong goal to pursue. That's a little bit late, right? You don't want to get to the goal and then realize, oh my goodness, it was just the wrong goal to pursue. You want to know that at the starting point. You might not know what it will look like when you get there. And so you might need to, clearly, as you move towards the goal, it will become more clearer. And the journey obviously might look different. Sometimes you can navigate off the path, come back, evaluate, navigate again. So that is fine. But if you're going to put in the effort and the time to pursue a goal, you want to at least know that that is for sure the goal you want to pursue. So that's where values come in. If you have the core values and you understand your core values up front, it's easier to know and to validate that against whether the goal that you're pursuing is the right one or not. So those were the three main things that came out of questions last week. Tonight we have the last session on the same topic. 6 o'clock South African Standard Time. I don't know what that is in Eastern Time. You can look it up, but from the top of my head. But join us, and we'll be finished in about 30 minutes. That's fairly okay to finish in 30 minutes. And then if there's Q&A, I'll stay on longer for those of you that have questions and whatever you need help with. Yeah, and that's it that I currently have for March. If there are specific topics that you struggle with, or even as a coach, you feel there are certain things that you want to become better at when it comes to mental skills, even health, coaching wise, even if you are a coach that need to lose some weight, then you can also come to me, because that's like, it's like going to a doctor that is 10 times what is supposed to, 10 times the weight that is supposed to weigh. And he wants to give health advice, which is sort of not the right person to give you health advice. So, and it goes for everything in life and anything in life. You don't go to the broke person to give you advice on how to make money. You don't go to a non-believer to give you advice. Well, you could probably get some good advice from them, but you don't go to a non-believer to give you advice on how to get into heaven one day. So you don't want to leave I almost want to say the advice you're seeking from certain people up by chance. It's not something you want to be intentional with whom you ask advice from and for what. So yeah, that's it. I'll be live regularly, more regularly on my YouTube channel. So check in whenever I am here. Otherwise, send me an email. If you're on Facebook, come and visit us there. But I'll be around a little bit more often on YouTube going forward. So you guys must have a fantastic day, and I will see you. Bye from my tiny little office here in Bloemfontein. Bye.